Like whenever I talk about it, it always makes them come out more. If I feel a tick coming on, I'll just say stop. So if I do, just step away for a second, and then I'll let you know when I'm good to carry on.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm Tash.
I'm Matthew.
And we are the owners of Bleeding Hearts Tattoo. We wanted you to step in and maybe feel like you're in your auntie's house.
The vibe in the shop is just really nice and friendly.
These guys are my safe space, they are my best friends.
We wanted everybody to feel comfortable, so regardless of your age, your gender, your like diagnoses.
We have things like fidget toys and disposable earplugs, so if they have like noise or sensory issues.
I definitely think that there is a link between being neurodiverse and getting tattoos.
It's a way for neurodivergent people to express themselves.
I'm Arden, I'm 23, I use he, him pronouns, and I'm an ODP in paediatric theatres. In my neurodiversity, I've been diagnosed with autism and Tourette syndrome. I first started showing signs of tics when I was about 8 years old, but it took me quite a long time to get diagnosed. Like late teens, sort of 14, 15, 16, they ramped up a lot. My tics got more prevalent, and I got diagnosed with OCD. I've got 13 tattoos. My first one is this little ghost that my best friend drew, partly because I just love ghosts, and because my name is Arden Casper, I always get called Little Ghost. So I wanted to get a nice little ghost as my first one.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all good, thank you. Do you want to come and sit down?
Unique New York.
Hi, I'm Matthew. I'm 37. I'm suspected autistic and confirmed dyscalculia, and I'm a tattoo artist. Alright, so I'll just show you what I've drawn for you. So based on the drawing you sent me, which was really good.
Thank you.
Normally people send me weird squiggles, but that was actually amazing. So I do a style that you could call engraving style, but it's also known as like woodcut or medieval style artwork. I think I love the way that you can create a piece with a really simple piece that's kind of funny, that's, you know, like a frog dressed as a knight, or I've done like a rat dressed as Gandalf. And people love it, and it's whimsical and it's fun, but then you can also do really big serious pieces with loads of contrast and loads of detail, and they're both really satisfying to do. I've changed the boot a little bit,
Yeah.
but I've pretty much stuck with the same.
No, I really
mouse.
like it.
Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I really like that. Today I'm getting a little rat poking out of a Wellington boot.
It's really cute, yeah, especially the actual boot itself. I like doing things that have like a bit of texture to them. What was this inspired by?
No, I did a play called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime and played Christopher in it. They don't say in the story exactly what Christopher is diagnosed with, if he's diagnosed with anything, but the way he is written resonates with a lot of autistic people. And the whole play, I think, does a really good job actually of showing a neurotypical audience what it's like existing in a neurodiverse world. And I wanted to get a tattoo to remember that. And if anyone knows the story or knows the play, the sort of classic image is the like dog with the pitchfork. I didn't fancy getting that because I wanted something a bit more subtle about the show. So I drew a little rat coming out of a Wellington boot because Christopher has a pet rat called Toby in the play, and the dog that the play is centred around is called Wellington. So I thought I'd do a little Toby the rat coming out of a Wellington boot, and that's my reminder on my body of something that I was so proud of and a story that I was so passionate about.
Amazing. Cool, right, so if you want to just chill here for a little bit, I'll go and get this all sorted, and then I'll shout you over.
Perfect, thank you.
Awesome. If we're tattooing someone who's got a condition like Tourette's, it can vary quite a lot, so we'll tend to speak to them about what their symptoms are and how they manifest themselves. Some people will twitch and move a lot, some people have verbal tics or physical tics. Arden, do you want to come on over?
Where are you wanting? It's like here
So
or
I was thinking a bit like
lower?
about
Yeah.
here-ish.
Okay.
So the top is sort of near the top of that salmon, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Perfect. Fortunately, my style owes itself to error because it's designed to be etchy and woodcutty. If there's a mistake in there, I can hide it and make it look purposeful instead of an accident.
I was going to say, I actually didn't know you had Tourette's.
Do you not?
No, I had no idea.
Yes, I think swearing is the main misconception, and just assuming that there are things in life that I can't do or can't be safe doing. Things like holding knives for cooking or holding babies, things like that. People assuming that just because I've got Tourette's that I'm gonna, throw something across the room or cause a huge scene, or I can't go somewhere quiet.
Tourette's, generally speaking, in movies and TV shows and stuff, is always shown as, I think, the most extreme. The one that comes to mind is, I think his name's Pete. He was in Big Brother. He was very shouty and kind of sweary. I've never met someone with Tourette's who's like that. I've met a couple of people with Tourette's and they all have quite minor tics, and it's normally a little bit of a click or like a whistle.
Okay, go and have a look in the mirror for me.
Yeah.
Let me know if you're happy with it, positioning, size and stuff.
I knew that I wanted to work in healthcare in some capacity from when I was really, really young, and started training to be an Operating Department Practitioner, which is a career that I don't think many people know about. We're quite hidden away. We work mostly in operating theatres, and I really developed an interest in working with children, because I think going for any kind of surgical procedure is such a huge moment in anyone's life, but for a child that's so amplified and can be so scary. The stencil looks so good, so I'm excited to go. Just adjusting the bed so that it'll be in the right position, and then I'll get set up and we'll get going. It's been quite an internal journey, I think, to try and be more comfortable with the tics and to trust that people aren't going to think I'm going to be unsafe, and maybe break that stigma a bit and make people realise that even though I've got Tourette's, I'm good at my job and it doesn't impact my safety at work at all.
So if there's anything that you need me to be aware of with your Tourette's, or anything that I can do to make the experience more comfortable for you, just let me know. Is there anything specific that I need to be aware of?
The main thing is just, if I feel a tic coming on, I'll just say stop. So if I do, just, I'm not being difficult or anything, just step away for a second, and then I'll let you know when I'm good to carry on.
Yeah, no problem.
Hello, I'm Evelyn, I'm 19, I use any pronouns, and I'm a student. I got informally diagnosed very early in secondary school. I got sent to the school counsellor because of my behavioural issues. I was on the wait list for maybe 4 years. I had a quick chat with an adult who asked me if I thought anyone else in my family was autistic, and I confidently said my dad, and so did my mother. After that, they asked me to talk about something I was interested in. I waffled about meatloaf for about an hour, and then they let me go, and that was it.
Hi, see, Evelyn.
Shut your door.
It's not you. It's we've got a dodgy door.
Oh, okay.
My name is Tash. I'm 31, and I am one of the co-owners of Bleeding Hearts Tattoo, and I'm also a tattoo artist. I was at home watching Ink Master. Any of you who have watched it? Questionable show. However, I was watching it with Matt, and I said to him, this is what I want to do. This is what I drew up for you. I was really excited when you said you like the idea of gothic design and religious imagery. Black work, I would say my style is. I really love tattooing, either botanical elements, anything witchy inspired.
I'm getting an eye in sort of a woodcut cross star design. It's really, really cool. It will be my 21st eye on my body. The eyes on the top of my feet are in sets of 3, so I'm counting them as 1 for 1 foot, 1 for the other, instead of 6. So it's a lot of eyes.
I'm going to do all of the outer lines a little bit thicker and have some areas where it's a little bit darker. And then the eye, I want to add in a little bit of stipple shading, because my plan is for the star bit to kind of look like it's in the background, and then the eye to be pushed forward, so it looks really like creepy and cool.
The eye design is from the podcast or audio drama The Magnus Archives. It surrounds these fears of humanity that have become entities, and one of them is the eye. It's called The Ceaseless Watcher, which is super cool. Love that.
I've not listened to it, but Matt and I said that it sounds really interesting, and that he thinks that he'd like it, so I think we're going to give it a listen.
There's a lot of queer neurodiverse characters of all ages, of all sexualities, of all races and religions, and they all go through the same thing and they all react in so many different ways, so there's someone that you will really relate to.
I'll print this out in a few different sizes for you, and then we'll have a play around in front of the mirror and see where you'd like it to go. Is that all okay?
Yes, there's definitely a link between tattoos and neurodivergency. I think because people will treat us like we're alternative, whether we look it or not, we might as well look it.
We show so much expression in the way that we dress and the way that we look, whether that is getting tattoos, getting piercings, dyeing our hair, changing our wardrobes. I think it just helps us to find who we really feel like we are.
And I also think with like special interests, you know, obviously neurotypical people have things that they love and are really passionate about. For an autistic person, there's such a deep connection with it that for me, like I say, I want it etched into my bones, and the closest thing I can get is having it etched into my skin.
Have you got any plans for your other leg?
So, yeah, I think I do have a plan for this big main strip. There's a Birmingham clock tower at uni. Have you seen Old Joe?
No,
He's
but I can like...
basically just one big clock tower and then a big square. A little bit like a Big Ben. Even when I was very, very young, sort of, you know, early primary school, I'd been attaching myself to characters in books and stuff who are neurodivergent or who are often thought to be. I read Sherlock Holmes when I was very, very young. And yeah, I was very hyperlexic because I loved reading, and I thought, this is how I'm going to make friends. I'm going to speak like Sherlock Holmes for the rest of my life. This'll work. I think it was pray tell was the phrase I used, which must have made me sound so obnoxious, but kids at that age think you're cool when you do that. They're like, oh my god, you're like a character. And then you get a bit older and kids realise, ooh, characters aren't real. This is strange. I think it's definitely around the age of like 10 to 12 that kids start noticing something is off.
I'm going to give you a little shave first of all, babe, just to get rid of any baby hairs on the back of your leg.
Oh yeah, it's not even baby hairs, it's just full on hair. Secondary was not fun. I struggled mostly with maths. I've got dyscalculia and numbers don't really mean anything to me, so time, space, amounts, all of that is just sort of nonsense in my head, like a different language. I specifically remember telling one of the maths teachers that I was learning more from my book than I was from him, which I realise now is not very nice to say to a teacher who's trying their hardest, but at the time I believed it to be true, so I thought, well, I'm trying to help him out here, you know. I'm just trying to explain that what I'm doing is actually really helpful to me, just reading Jane Eyre when I should be doing maths.
I think so, but I just want the second opinion.
Can I get you just to spin that way, just ever so slightly for me?
I'm deaf as a post, so I can hear people saying things, but I'm not sure what it is.
We are checking to make sure that your design is straight.
Cool, they're checking to make sure my design is straight.
I think what is probably throwing your eye off is the fact that this point wobbles ever so slightly in that direction.
Yeah. Okay, turn around, have a look in the mirror, babe. You happy? Yes. I'm happy. Yay! Amazing.
More eyes. Everyone at work was like, you getting another tattoo? I was like, yeah. They're like, what are you getting? I was like, well.
I'll give you 3 guesses, but you'll only need 1.
Yeah, I'm a little bit. To be fair, all my others are music based, so it could have been music based, but it isn't. It's another eye.
How does like, you know, you say you can feel it coming on.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
So some of the tics I don't get any warning and they just come out. Like whenever I talk about it always makes them come out more. So a lot of mine, as you'll see, are all like small jerky movements, so motor tics that are in my neck or my hands. And then I make some smaller sounds as well, like tongue clicking or rolling my eyes or sort of stretching my face out, things like that. I think see more people with Tourette's in theatre would be great. I know a few of my friends in theatre have also got Tourette's, who are fantastic performers. And I don't know if their experience is the same as mine, but I find that when I'm on stage and I know what I'm supposed to be doing with my body and I'm playing a character and I feel completely immersed, that it just feels like it's not that the tics aren't there, but they just sort of are more distant for a while, and I just feel more in control of my own body. Matt, have you got any theatre experience?
I was quite like a theatrical kid. Like I used to go into the Sea Life Centre and stand at the massive shark wall and hum the theme tune from Tomb Raider. How my parents didn't know I wasn't autistic back then, who knows? But when I always really liked doing like fantasy make-believe stuff.
Yeah.
When I was a little bit older, I started going to it was like a theatre college for kids. It was really good because it felt like somewhere I could kind of express myself without feeling weird about it. Unfortunately, it didn't last long because my dad wasn't a particularly good dad and would tend to like stop paying for things. So it was the same with like karate, and I learned how to play the drums, but I only got taught for about half a year because he stopped paying for it. Unfortunately, when that happened with the theatre thing, I hadn't pursued it since, and as I've got older and dealt with a lot of the kind of ostracizing behaviour from people, it's dulled my spark a bit, so I'm not the person that I think I should have been, which then I suppose leads back to my son. I want to make sure that he is the person he wants to be, and seeing him growing up, it's like looking at myself through a time lens, because he's literally exactly the same as I was as a kid. It's looking good. It's looking very cute. Being autistic is hard, but it's also amazing because I like the fact that now I don't worry too much about what people think about me, because you know, if you like me or you don't, that's that really. As long as my clients are happy and the people who I care about are happy, that's all I care about. Cool. Right, we're all done. I'll just give it a little clean.
Before I had any tattoos, I thought I would get one and that would be it. I thought I'd get the ghost, and that had been what I'd wanted for years, and that would be it. But then I really liked how in control of my own body it made me feel. Being able to then look in the mirror and see actually all these different pieces of artwork that I've chosen made me feel so much more connected to my body and so much more in control of what was happening to me. Really good memory. I'm glad that I've got the reminder of it.
Pretty much everyone I know who is artistic in some way also does seem to be neurodivergent.
Take a picture of the tattoos, like straight men with a fish.
And then you got lovers.
Yeah.
I've seen someone do that. Yeah, they've like edited out the tattoo and held it. Yeah.
Just wanted to challenge the misconception people have about Tourette's, and that yes, I have Tourette's, but I can sit still enough for a tattoo. And actually, I find my tics normally like reduce. I think while I'm having them, I think that the physical input sort of does help a bit, and that I'm not limited in what I can do. Like obviously it affects me, and have hard days and you have better days, but that I think the idea of what people think Tourette's is just isn't the case for the vast majority of people.
Are you ready, babe?
Yeah. Uni has been so much better. You tick one box on a thing that says, yep, I'm diagnosed autistic, and it opens up a whole host of different pathways and different teachers who can help you. I was given a support worker like the first week of uni who helped me from things such as how to figure out exam timings to like how to use the washing machine. She was lovely. Big up Megan. So
Big up our Meg.
yeah.
My son's at nursery at the minute. He's got like an unofficial support worker, I guess. Like he has a one-to-one. Ziggy is autistic. He doesn't have a formal diagnosis yet because of his age. So we had an assessment with speech and language, but because he's hyperlexic, so he's 4 years old, but he speaks at sort of like a 6-year-old age. They won't give him a formal diagnosis. So right now we're in limbo.
But then he's really lucky because he's got, you know, you to sort of fight for him, I guess.
Yeah. He's got 2 neurodivergent parents.
There we are.
I realised that I had ADHD in 2021 after the birth of my son. And I did some research and I found that it's really common for people who have children to kind of realise that they're neurodivergent, and it's because our brains just can't hold on to everything that comes with having a child. Originally I had a diagnosis of depression and then anxiety, and then I think I was in my early 20s when I got the diagnosis of borderline personality disorder.
Oh, are you borderline as well?
I am.
Cool.
Does yours stem from childhood trauma too?
Probably. That's definitely been the hardest thing. I think coupled with the autism, I've already got very black and white thinking, and then the borderline is categorised by black and white thinking, so it's just everything is completely lacking nuance a lot of the time, which can be very stressful.
I can kind of switch off my empathy and I can become quite cold in situations where I feel unsafe. So for example, if I'm arguing with somebody or if I feel like I'm in a dangerous situation, it's almost like a switch goes off in my brain, and it almost turns me into a completely different person, which can be quite scary.
I think, to be fair, the autism's definitely linked, isn't it? Like, if you're bullied from such a young age, something is gonna be
It
affected.
alters your brain.
There needs to be more in place to stop bullying. So I know that the school I went to, a couple of years after I left, got an Ofsted report that was truly terrible in terms of safeguarding and bullying and all that kind of thing. So I know that I had very bad luck in where I went to school, but at the same time, all schools are not doing enough. We watched, a 3-minute video in PSHE about don't bully gay people, and that was it. They were like, right, that's your education, don't do it.
In mainstream schools, they just need the extra support. And I think it's important so that those kids don't go under the radar. They aren't just labelled as problematic or difficult. Their brains just work differently and they need support to make sure that they thrive in an environment that isn't built for them. We are all done, babe. Wahoo! So I'm going to give it a really good clean and then I'll let you hop up and have a look in the mirror.
Lovely job. I always think of when they go on the chase and they lose and they go, I've had a lovely day out, Bradley. That's what they always say. Even if they've lost £5 million, it's always, I've had a lovely day out, Bradley.
It's a great thing that more people are getting diagnosed because it means there's more awareness of these conditions, there's more information available, there are more resources. That whole narrative of, this didn't exist in my day. My dad has 2 sheds full of woodworking tools that he's never used. If that man is not autistic.
It's definitely good for me. I'm somebody who really likes labels. I like to put things in little boxes. It makes me feel very secure. The worst part, I think, about growing up neurodivergent is that you know something's off, but you don't know what, and everybody else knows that too. And so it's nice to have a label that isn't just off-putting. Sure, I can still be off-putting, but there's other reasonings behind it. You know that you aren't there's not, so to speak, something wrong with you. There's just something different.
I think it looks so cool.
It is so cool. Nice.
Thank you so much.
Brilliant. Thank you. You did it.
And you should be so proud of yourself. You smashed it.
Yay. It's been very lovely. Everyone's been so nice, and I love getting tattooed. It's just kind of cathartic in a strange way.
The high statistical rate of autism in the trans community can be really easily explained if you recognise that the data being sampled is utter rubbish.